We have learned a lot about the hardware. Now let's study about the software. Types of software. Types of software. Okay, we are all set to learn the types of software. We know that a computer system is made up of two things, hardware and software. Till now we were learning about the hardware. Now let's study about the software. There are two types of softwares, system software and application software. Application software. Now let's study about the system software. System software. A software that manages the computer. Manages the computer. Okay. A software that manages the computer and controls internal computer operations. Internal computer operations. Is known as is known as system software. System software. Okay, such software which manages the computer means the system softwares are not for the specific use of the user. These softwares are just to manage the computer and various internal operations. So such softwares are called system softwares. There are two types of system softwares. Two types of system software. The first one is called operating system. Operating system. In short, we can say it as OS. Operating system. In short, we can say it as OS. And the second one is language processor. Language processor. Okay. Now let's see these system softwares one by one. Now let's first see the operating system. Operating system. What is operating system? Before I explain you the operating system, let's see this picture. This is the hardware. Okay. Before to hardware, there is something called system software. Okay. Or let's say it as operating system. Don't say it as system software. Of course, this layer is for system software, but I'm just considering the operating system. Operating system. And before to the operating system, we have, tell me what? Application softwares. Okay. Application softwares. Application software means the software which is created for the user. For example, word processor, spreadsheet, PowerPoint presentation, all are the application softwares. Okay. So what happens is, suppose that we do not have any operating system in the computer. Okay. So in that case, if you have to use the word processor is the example of application software. The end user directly uses the word processor, and the end user also uses various other application softwares. So the end user uses the word processor, and the end user also uses various other application softwares. So all the application softwares has to use the hardware. Suppose that we have the application softwares like word processor, browser, okay, PowerPoint presentation, etc. So all these softwares ultimately has to use the hardware. They have to use the monitor, they have to use the disk, they have to use the memory, they have to use the CPU. So all these application layer softwares have to use the hardware. And all these application layer softwares are created by the different vendors. A company has created the PowerPoint software, other company has created the browser, other company has created the word processor. Now, if the operating system is not present in the computer, then these application softwares will have to access this hardware directly without the help of operating system. So the vendors of this software will have the responsibility to write the code for accessing the hardware. Means the vendor of the PowerPoint software will have the responsibility to write the code to access the hardware. The vendor of the browser will have the responsibility to write the code to access hardware. And same is the case with the word processor. But if suppose that the accessing of hardware is given to the operating system and the access of the hardware is not given to the application softwares, then what will happen? The application software will say the operating system to access the hardware for me, and the operating system will access the hardware for the application software. Okay, so in this case, what will happen is the vendors will free from writing the code to access the hardware. Okay, they will just write the code that how to tell the operating system to access the hardware. They will not write the code to actually access the hardware, but the vendors of the application software will write the code for how to say the operating system to access the hardware. Okay, so nowadays this is a kind of portability, means we can install anything on this hardware because we have an operating system. Otherwise, suppose that there was no operating system, then you bought a software, you bought an application software which do not have the code to access your hardware that may have written for some other hardware. Are you getting? So what happens here is operating system takes care of accessing the hardware and the application software takes care of accessing the operating system. And that's how you can install any program on any hardware because you do not have to access the hardware directly. So this is the work of operating system. Operating system is an intermediary between application software and hardware. Operating system is the intermediary between application software and hardware. Okay, so this is the first work of operating system. Operating system manages a computer. For example, what operating system manages? RAM, disk, CPU, network, security, etc. Okay, you do not have to care about managing the various tasks running on your computer. Operating system manages them automatically. You have dozens of tasks running on your computer, but you do not care about to take those tasks to the CPU. Operating system is doing it in the background. If you go here, right click, open the task manager, and you can see how many programs are executing. You have 105 programs are executing in the background. Are you managing anything? No, the operating system is automatically managing all these programs and giving the chances to all these programs one by one on the CPU. So this is the another work of the operating system. It's just like a housekeeper, just like a manager. Now, there are multiple types of operating system we have. I am not going in that details because this is not in your syllabus. Single user operating system, OS means operating system, multi-user operating system, time sharing operating system. I am just writing TS, time sharing operating system, real time operating system. I am just writing RT, real time operating system, multi-processing operating system, and distributed operating system. all these types of operating systems are courses in themselves. Okay, so operating system is a very heavy course if you do a BTech in computer science or IT. Now, other kind of system software is, tell me, the language processor. Okay, the language processor is also considered as the application software. The language processor. So what the language processor does, the language processor actually converts your code written in Python or C or C++. Okay, this is the code written in Python, C, C++, etc. This is your LP, means language processor, that converts it into something machine code. Okay, so this is called the language processor. Actually, there are three types of language processor. First one is called assembler. We are going to study about assembler, interpreter, compiler in much detail. First one is assembler. The assembler converts a program written in the assembly language to the machine language. I am not writing it here, okay? The program written in the assembly language will be converted to the machine language by the assembler. The second one is interpreter. 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 What interpreter does is, it converts the code written in Python line by line to the machine code. Means first it will read one line of the code and convert it to the machine code. Then it will read the other line of the code and will convert to the machine code. So this is the work of interpreter. Okay, converting the code line by line into the machine code. Now the third one is called compiler. Compiler. What compiler does? Compiler converts all the source code into the machine code at once. So we will learn more about the difference between assembler, interpreter and compiler in the coming videos of this session. Now let's see about the application softwares. Till now we have seen the system softwares. Now let's see about the application softwares. Application software. Application software means a software for a specific application. Okay, what does the application software means? A software for a specific application. A software for a specific application is called application software. For example, WordPad. The WordPad is for a specific application. Then other example you can say is a financial software. Okay, so these are the few examples of application softwares which are for a specific application. Now we have four kinds of application softwares: packages, utilities, then customized software, developer tools. Okay, we have four kinds of application softwares. Let's see about the packages. Let's see the packages. Such application softwares are designed by keeping mass of users in the consideration. Okay, for example, your MS Word. Does the MS Word is designed for a specific user? No. Does the MS Word is designed for a specific company, a specific organization? No. The MS Word is designed for everyone in the world, but it suits everyone's personal need. Okay, so when you design a software which suits for everyone's personal need, but you designed it by keeping a mass of users in the mind. Then such softwares are called packages. Like all the packages of Microsoft Word, Microsoft Spreadsheet, Microsoft PowerPoint, etc. All are the packages. Okay, and there are various kinds of packages like word processing software, spreadsheet, as we have seen, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access, all are the packages. Database management systems are the packages. Database, also called DBMS. Database management systems are the packages. The DBMS also designed by keeping the mass users in the mind. Desktop publishing softwares are the packages. Graphics, multimedia, and presentation applications are also packages. So hopefully you got what are the packages. The second application software which we are going to study is utilities. Utilities are the software which does not mean to satisfy your need, but makes your computer running smooth. For example, antivirus software. You never use your computer just to install the antivirus software. Installing the antivirus software is not your job. You install the antivirus software just to keep your computer performing good. Otherwise, personally, you do not need any antivirus software. You need WordPress. You need a spreadsheet. You need word processing software. You need database management software. Why the hell you need the antivirus software? But that is requirement of your computer. If you want to keep your computer running smooth, then you need to install the antivirus software. So such software which you actually do not need directly in your life, but this software indirectly makes your life smoother, makes your computer to run smooth. Such softwares are called utility softwares. Okay. The purpose of the utility softwares are to assist your computer, to assist your computer. Okay, these are just for assist your computer. You require them, but you do not bought the computer to use the utility software. You do not bought the computer just to install the antivirus software. You bought it to use something else. You bought it to use the database management. You bought it to use the word processing. You never bought it to you never bought a computer to install the antivirus software. Okay, but you need it to make your life easier. So there are few examples of the utility softwares are text editors. Second one is like your notepad is a utility software. Okay, the backup utilities, if you have a backup, then you can get your computer again even if your computer stops working. Not only you will get your computer, but you will get all your programs and all your data as if your computer never stopped working. So these are the benefits of backup utility. The third one is compression utility. Sometimes you have to send a big file to someone, but sending the big file is not possible. You are sending a few MB of file to someone and sending that much big file is not possible. Sometimes it happens. In that case, you can compress your data and make it smaller. Compression means you just zip something and make them smaller. Okay, if you have 10 MB of file, you made it 2 MB by using the compression utility. So the compression utility is used for making the file size lower. So the compression utility is used to decrease the size of the file. The fourth point here is disk defragmenter. Disk defragmenter. Suppose that you have various files in your disk. This is your disk. This is the file number 1, this is the file number 2, this is the file number 3, this is the file number 4. Okay, and your disk is not that big, your disk is small. Okay, and you can have only 4 files. Suppose that this is the situation. Now what happened is that file 1 got erased from the disk, file 4 got erased from the disk. Okay, the other file comes, the file 5, which cannot store in this space and cannot store in this space. But somehow, if I add these two spaces together, then we can store the 5 in that space. So even if we have the space available to store 5, we will not be able to store the 5. We will not be able to store 5 in the disk. Here comes the use of disk defragmentation. What you do is you just uh, keep the two existing files together and make all the extra spaces all together. Okay, now we have enough space to store 5 and we can store 5 here. So collecting all the spaces together is called disk defragmentation. Okay, otherwise if you do not defragment the disk, then you will have to divide the file 5 into two parts and you will have to store one 5 here and other 5 here. This is what you will have to do if you do not defragment it. But after defragmenting it, what we achieved, we achieved all the spaces together in the disk. One thing I will suggest you, this is not recommended to do disk defragmentation on SSD. Okay, you should do the disk defragmentation only on the hard disk drive. Do not do the disk defragmentation on the SSD. Okay, why I will not tell you right now, but don't do the disk defragmentation on the SSD. The other kind of utility software is antivirus software. Antivirus software. I think you all know about the antivirus software. To stop malicious virus attacking your computer, you need antivirus software. Of course, you do not have any direct need of antivirus software, but you need the antivirus software to keep your computer up and running smoothly. Okay, so this is all about utilities. Now coming to the customized softwares, also called business software. Customized softwares or also called business software. Suppose that your school need a software for student management. Okay, and there is no general purpose software available for the student management. There is no package available for the student management. So your school will say a software company, a IT company, to create a software for the school which manages the students. Such softwares which are ordered by a specific business is called customized software. You can take an example like you go to the market, bought a ready-made t-shirt and wear it. The second scenario is that you go to the market, buy the plain clothes, go to the tailor and then just tell the tailor to make clothes for you. So in the same way, when you say a software industry to create a software for your specific need, then such software is called customized software or business software. Okay, suppose that you are running a hotel and you tell a software company your needs, and the software company create a software, develop a software according to your needs. So such software is called customized software. Okay, after that we have developer tools. Developer tools, also called software libraries. Software libraries, developer tools or software libraries. Suppose that you have to do big scientific operations, like you are creating a software. You are a software developer. Suppose that you are the software developer. You are creating a software having big scientific operations like integration, like statistics. Okay, there are very big operations which you need to integrate in your software. So there are two ways: either you write your own code for the integration, or you can download a integration code written by someone else. Okay, so when you download a code of integration written by someone else, then such codes are called developer tools or software libraries. There are various examples of Python libraries are numpy, numpy. Okay, numpy is numerical Python. If you want to do various big numerical operations, then you can download the numpy developer tool. There is something called scipy, okay, which includes various methods for linear algebra optimization, integration, statistics, etc. There can be few developer tools for artificial intelligence, so you can download those tools and directly use various AI algorithms in your code. So such tools written by someone else, written by the third party. Okay, you are the first party who is creating a software for the second party, and in that software you need to integrate something which require big scientific operations. So you have downloaded a library from the third party and integrated it in your software. So the developer tools is the third party tool using which any software developer can integrate the code written by others and use them.